You know, at a sporting event, it's not just what you see that impacts your experience. It's also what you hear. Ball hitting bat, music blaring through speakers, fan in the row behind you booing incessantly. And then there's that voice, you know, the one that introduces teams and players and halftime acts. Well, it's time to introduce you to one of those voices you've probably heard at a game here in Chicago.
Once upon a time, Tim Sinclair studied architecture at the University of Illinois. Today, he's the voice of the Bulls at the house that Jordan built. Crazy, right?
I never dreamed of using my voice for a living until I needed a part-time job, needed to make some money in college, and went, who do I know who would be stupid enough to hire me for like 5 or 6 hours a week? And I happened to know a guy who ran a radio station and just said, can I help?
That was 1997, and the answer was yes. Then a decade later, he said yes when someone asked if he'd do public address for Illini baseball. Soon he was on the mic for multiple Illini sports. The would-be architect had constructed a career as an announcer.
When someone said, do you want to do public address for Illinois? I could have said, that's not my thing. I don't know that I'm going to be good at it. Instead, I was like, sure, sounds like fun. Let's try it. And I tried it. And I wasn't very good. But I got better, and it obviously, opened up a career path that I never could have seen.
Hello, Bulls Nation. I'm Tim Sinclair, and welcome to the United Center.
These days, Sinclair is under contract with 4 teams: the Bulls, Bears, Fire, and Illini men's hoops. Add in NBA All-Star activities and IHSA championships, and he works more than 100 events a year. That's a lot of games and a lot of names.
Favorite name you get to say on a Chicago team?
It's Io or DeMar. Io because of our longevity, because I've known him for so long and gotten to call his name for so long, and it's become a thing. And DeMar because most people repeat that back to me. If they do a call back to me, they're always like, DeMar DeRozan!
DeMar DeRozan!
Sure, Sinclair has gigs with a handful of teams, but really it's his gig with the Bulls that's made him the most recognizable. Obviously, you can hear his booming voice at a game, but you can also hear it if you're watching a game.
And now, the starting lineup for your Chicago Bulls.
And you can even hear it playing a game.
It's DeRozan with a drive.
Yes! He's the voice of all games played at the United Center on the video game series NBA 2K.
For tonight's matchup between the Cleveland Cavaliers and your Chicago Bulls.
And if fans only knew the 45-year-old's voice, now they know his face, too, from a new national commercial for State Farm.
I went, and the director was talking to me right before we went on set and said, okay, you're going to do this, then you're going to do this, then you kind of look here, and then you sing the jingle. And I went, excuse me, what? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And every time it airs somewhere, I'll get text or social media messages from someone going, what? Question mark, exclamation point, what in the world? So that is fun to know that people are seeing it.
But back to his day job. Sinclair says his goal is to reflect what the crowd is feeling, which is easy to do because he's just like everyone sitting in the seats.
I don't want to be an actor. I don't want to be a guy playing a part. I'm a fan. And I think people can tell if I'm giving some sort of fake performance or fake excitement over something that's happening.
And no doubt it's working. The Central Illinois native is busier than ever. Fans tell him they love his work. Plus, how about this? After he missed a recent Bulls game, Nikola Vucevic said the energy just wasn't the same without him. Once upon a time, life's blueprint was to build. But clearly, Sinclair made the right choice to use his voice.
You said no one's ever given you negative feedback. No one's ever told you, dude, you got that wrong.
Nope.
So I would imagine mission accomplished.
I mean, I guess, or they're just not paying attention, but either way, I'll take it.
He's a fascinating guy, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He's so cool. He told me he went to one Bulls game growing up with his high school basketball team. They sat in the last row, but he remembers how special the iconic Bulls intro was. He wants to make it special for everyone every time they go to a game.
Yeah, he's got a unique talent in that you can hear his joy and his enthusiasm even when he just says a name, which I think is incredibly difficult to convey as a public address announcer.
He does an incredible job.
Our congratulations to Tim.